What's up, Degens, and welcome in to the first ever episode of Degens Wanna Know, where we, the World Series of Degens, go out and interview some of the most famous gamblers on planet Earth and largest crypto personalities. Gracing the stage today is Juicy, and if you don't know him, you've been living under a rock. His Juicy Slots channel is rapidly approaching 200,000 subs, and his Juicy CSG channel is already over 500,000. Juicy's out here posting videos where he's wagering over $100,000 a day, and he's doing it on a raw balance. That means despite his sponsorship with, he's out here wagering his own money, taking the risk, and making the most entertaining and transparent gambling content on YouTube. In a world where so many other online slot streamers are playing with fake demo balances, Juicy is the real fucking deal. Perhaps that's why his videos are getting over 50,000 views per day, oftentimes hitting 100K. Without further ado, let's jump right into the interview.
Yo, we got a little Q&A. I'm going to try to bang these out real fast for you. Thank you so much for your support, by the way.
Of course, Juicy, you're the man. Now look, I know you were doing CSGO videos and all that, but how did you transition to have a dedicated slot channel?
There was no leap. As you know, I have my main channel, Juicy CSGO, which was just CSGO gambling. And Gamdom was one of my sponsors. And I really enjoyed doing blackjack videos, slots videos. And so I had even worked with Roulette and Gamdom. I had worked with multiple crypto casinos at the time. And I was getting maybe 7,500 because I had a massive viewer base for my CSGO gambling videos. And then eventually I realized like posting CSGO gambling, CSGO like actual Counter-Strike videos and slots and like blackjack, it's just like the weirdest fucking smorgasbord of content. So I spun off Juicy Slots and I would post half of a bonus opening on my main channel, half on the slots channel. And eventually I got enough subscribers over there and the rest was history, you know what I mean? So there was no leap. It was really a gradual transition. And if it weren't for my main channel, I wouldn't be able to be as successful as a slots creator as I am now, because the main channel laid the groundwork for my sponsorship. And that's why I was able to start with about $10,000 to $13,000 fills per video. And that was massive.
A lot of other online slot streamers show their face. You do not. Was that a deliberate choice? And if so, why? And did that create any difficulty for you in building up your masses of followers?
Plain and simple, I was just too fat and insecure to be willing to show my face. I didn't want people to judge me. I didn't want people to be mean to me. And, I had a really fragile, frail ego at the time, and my self-worth was really low. So it wasn't in the options. It wasn't in the cards. But nowadays, if I was starting at zero, I definitely would show my face. Absolutely. The advantage is it's just insane. You have such a huge advantage when you have a face cam, especially if you're confident in yourself as an entertainer, because your hands, your eyes, your mouth, your body can all be used to entertain. And wait, pause, dude, wait. But you get what I'm saying. So like if a bonus pays a little bit, you don't even have to say anything. You could just, pump your fist in the air and be like, let's go. Or if a bonus is paying insane, you could just jump up and down and be like, what the fuck? Now I have to verbalize all those emotions and feelings. So it's definitely a lot harder, not to mention thumbnails. You can use your face and, it's a whole different beast. But now there's just no point in me face revealing. And I love the way our videos are. We're very unique. And like I said, there's just no point in doing it anymore. So I have no plans to do it, but who knows? It's always possible.
When you made the switch to start playing on Roulette, you were pretty open about your motives, one of which was the perceived benefits for your viewers and Discord members in terms of improved VIP benefits. Can you talk a little bit about how you perceive online casinos, and specifically how they treat and view their player pool, and why it was so important to you to make the switch to Roulette?
So I can't necessarily speak for how all online casinos treat their players. In my opinion, it's very similar to the real life casinos. And, it just depends how you morally perceive gambling as a whole. And then also just like retaining players by giving them rewards and giving them like just outreaching to them and giving them bonuses. So some people will say it's fucked up. Other people will be like, I like gambling and I like being comped and I like getting rewards. As for making the switch to Rue, initially I wanted to get away from the fake creators that Gamdom signed recently. Like when I was working with them, they had signed people and I was not okay with that. But then also they halved my affiliate rate and had told me, oh, we were overpaying your affiliates for a long time. And so now my earnings get halved. My fans are, still wagering their hard-earned money, but I'm not getting the same amount. And I just didn't buy it. I didn't believe that it was overpaying. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And all people got cut. Watch games got cut, but later watch games got a higher rate. And so that's why I also still feel like it's bullshit. Rubet said they would guarantee our affiliate rate is fixed, which is really important and crucial on a raw balance deal, because if we're not getting paid the proportionate amount, we're just not going to be able to stay competitive and keep making engaging videos. But then also a lot of my VIPs were fed up with Gamdom and wanted me to be over on Rubet. And Rubet had told me that they're far better in rewards. And in my opinion, numbers don't lie. I don't think Gamdom is anywhere near the size of some of the top casinos, and Rubet is. Gamdom had some performance issues. Rubet doesn't. And Rubet's the second biggest casino behind Stake, and they're the fastest growing. So I'm entirely happy with the switch to Ru. Ultimately, though, I'm smart enough to acknowledge, and I think a lot of other people are as well, that these sites are all pretty similar in the sense the way they market and whatnot. And ultimately, there is no crypto casino that engages in no demo balance deals. There is no crypto casino that thrives off of pure transparency and only working with the most honest raw form of promotion. And so I think this is something we can create one day as as Juicy Slots, as a Juicy brand. And same thing goes with slots providers. I think we can provide some revolutionary, transparency there as well. So ultimately, yeah, I'm satisfied with the switch. I love Rubet. They've been great to me. And, they put together dope shit like the blackjack tournament. And I think ultimately for our channel, our viewers, and our content, it's been a great switch.
You seem to be the only slot streamer on earth who's 100% transparent about their deposits, withdrawals, their deals, whereas a lot of other people in the space are pretty opaque in hiding the details or not being so forthright with them. Why is it so important to you to be the most transparent gambler on YouTube?
So ultimately, there's a couple things. I've been doing this for 9 years. And so if you're going to engage in demo balance videos, it is the most boring, selfish, shameless, fucked up form of promotion. And you're literally just sitting there acting. So you're literally just sitting there creating this fake piece of content in order to drive conversions. And if that doesn't crush your soul and make you feel like you're some fucking porn star, like you're some Lily Phillips, like banging 100 dudes, then I don't know what will. You know what I mean? So I say that to say 9 years ago, I started 100% raw, and then eventually I was getting offers from these sites, and as a broke kid, I was like, you know what? This sounds nice. This is a good idea. And so my first couple sponsorships were a mix of 100% raw and then, some demo balance. And I wouldn't be fully transparent about the two differences. And so I got to experience this firsthand. And definitely it's not a great feeling. And so as I finally made it out and have plenty of money, and I don't have to worry about school and my parents nagging me to go to class and whatnot, I've been, very, very passionately 100% raw balance for easily the past 5-6 years. And in my opinion, it is far better and far more rewarding and far more respectable, commendable, and far more appropriate to do as a creator. And then, at the time, I didn't realize I wasn't smart enough to acknowledge this, but you could also just do inflated balance deals. And so if you're a small fish in the game, push for inflated balance deals to make your content engaging and be transparent about it. So on my pack draw videos, we get to keep 25% whenever I inflate the balance. So I get $50,000 sponsored. I say that in my videos. They fill me $200,000, and in the intro I say, hey guys, We're starting with 200K. However, it's only 25% withdrawable. And I reiterate that 6 times throughout the video. So I'll unbox a Lamborghini and I'll be like, I could only keep 1/4 of this. So $60,000. And by the time we're doing the outro, I'm calculating 25% of 300K. And that's far better. That way, it's still 100% real money. It's just only a portion of it is actually withdrawable, but your fans aren't confused. They understand that, and it's crucial that you reiterate it constantly. And in the context of a live streamer, you would just have a streaming overlay, and that would be your transparency. And so all your wins would be prefaced with 10% withdrawable. And so imagine you see a $5 million win and it's on your YouTube shorts, it's on your Twitter page, but it clearly says 10% withdrawable. Then you're like, oh, dude, what a sick fucking win. But yeah, he only gets to keep 10% of that. It's still $500,000. That's nuts. And that's the reality that I dream of and the future that I dream of. However, for slots, it's like it doesn't even really matter how big the win is. It just matters that it's real. And so having some quantifiable way to be like, yeah, this is 100% real is crucial. And in my opinion, when 99% of creators are fake, eventually nobody's going to want to watch these fake actors. And so you're essentially betting on yourself and betting on the future that transparency will win out. And if you're going to watch creators, you're only going to watch creators that will publicize their crypto addresses, their affiliates, and their sponsorship deal. Because why else would you? And why would the highest volume players play under the fake creators? They're literally not supporting anything. They're literally supporting the cancer that is, causing people, some problematic addictions perhaps. And another thing with demo balance is it's worthless. So if you lose $1 million and you don't like how you talked in the video, you could just go to sleep and do it again tomorrow. And that's what happens with these creators. And so they'll lose multi-millions and then they'll boost their RTP as well. So when you lose money, I lose 10 million bucks, eventually you're going to win and it's going to be a big ass win. But if you don't show the $10 million in losses, people are only going to see, wow, that guy won crazy. Like that could happen to me. Let me deposit money. And obviously the more money you play with, the more it'll attract, perhaps ignorant multimillionaires to be like, oh, I would love to do this on Sweet Bonanza. And then next thing you know, they're out of the pocket $1 million. So I think ultimately it's a mix of everything. One, I regret how I used to do it back in the day, and I want to make change, and the community deserves it, and it's kind of starved of real content. But on top of that, I think I'm betting on the future where I know crypto casinos will still be massive, but I don't think, I think people are going to realize, and a lot of people already do realize, that majority of it is just all smoke and mirrors and it's completely fake. And then also there's smaller creators who have those moral boundaries, but they don't get the proper love and the proper light because they're being overshadowed by egregiously fake content creators.
Okay, let's have some fun here. What's worse, getting baited on a huge potential bonus buy when you're spinning, or getting in, but it's a dead bonus?
100% it's worse actually spinning into the bonus and having it be a dud. There's so many times where I'll have a 50K bonus or 30K bonus, or even like a Razor returns bonus where I'll go, I'll get it off of the Razor reveal and then I'll get it up to 100x and then it'll pay fuck all. It is absolutely the worst feeling, usually because I'm celebrating before it actually shows me the payout, and then I get fucked because I realize I'm getting paid out nothing.
A lot of our viewers like to watch when you play the gamble before the gamble games. I'm thinking the Big Bamboos, the Razor Returns, honestly a lot of those push gaming games. But do you have any fond memories of those particular ones, nightmares, or what are your fondest memories in general of some big wins?
My fondest memory, it's not on any of these two games, to be honest. I honestly have horrific memories associated with these two games. I'm just delusionally optimistic. I can override that traumatic memory. But my craziest moment was when I did a $3,000 feature spin on Keep 'em. It paid $450,000, and that's forever still my craziest win. Obviously, we publicized the cash out, and, that's massive.
Your voiceovers and editing have really become synonymous with best in business. Can you describe the journey and progression, from your early days all the way up to the final product of what we now see on YouTube?
It is. So yeah, I used to edit all my own videos starting off, And that's how I was able to become a millionaire straight up, because I didn't have to pay anyone to edit my videos. And for thumbnails, I would usually just kind of like screenshot a crazy moment in the video, and then eventually I'd pay people like 20, 30 bucks. And yeah, just piece it together from there. And I would say the first couple of years, I edited everything myself. And like I said, that's how I became a millionaire. And even now, present day, having that little bit of editing knowledge, like I'm not a legend at it or anything, but I understand how to speak the terminologies. And so I'm able to create a better final product because my input isn't just make it pop, make it prettier, make it go wow. I'm actually able to speak in specifics, and understand the terminologies. So the progression was really thinking that nobody would be able to edit better than me, and I don't want people to edit for me, to then finding our best editor. His name's Tonto, or at 7T, and he's able to basically take any raw file and turn it into an absolute masterpiece. And he's edited a lot of our most viral videos, and a lot of my current editing team realizes, they're like, wow, yeah, this guy he cooks bangers. And so once I found that guy, I realized there's people who are way better than me at this. I need to find them. And ultimately, it's really hard to find that talent. But once you do find it, you have to treat them as their worth, which is really priceless. And so I have a lot of people on my team who over the years have dedicated a lot of their time into creating the best content. And like I said, the number one tip I can give you is when you find them, keep them happy, because they're absolutely the lifeblood of your channel. And the reason why my editing is the best in the business is because I don't have a face cam. So, and the same thing goes with the voiceovers. I had to optimize both of those variables, or else my channel wouldn't really be that special. And so, for forever and always, I've understood that and have always pursued just making those better and better and better.
After all these years, what do you find to be the most satisfying slot to get a win on? Is it those with like the extreme volatility? I'm thinking like Zeus versus Hades, or just banging out a max win on a retro tapes?
Definitely an extremely volatile slot, I would say, are the most satisfied to win on. Zeus vs. Hades feels amazing. I love a good retro tapes max win. I would really just say any big win feels amazing. It doesn't really matter the game, but the less pretty the games are, the more it sucks. Like, there's some phenomenal games and some other slots that just kind of suck.
I recognize that in the space, sometimes it feels like there is no original idea. But when I look at your leaderboards and loyalty programs, your random slot picker, it just feels like you were either the first to do it or the first to do it right. How do you feel when others imitate or copy your style or approach to content?
Copying's inevitable. They say, what do you call it? Imitation is like the biggest form of flattery or some shit. It definitely pisses me off sometimes. There's so many creators who have like one-to-one yoinked our thumbnail format. And I'm like, how retarded are these fucking monkeys? You know what I mean? Because I sit in a call, especially in the early days. Now I have really talented managers, but I would sit there for hours and make sure that the thumbnail was perfect. And so we use this tool called ClickPilot, and we're able to preview the thumbnails and the titles before we actually post the video. And so, like I said, I would make sure that the packaging, the title, and thumbnail were flawless, were as good as I could logically get them before posting them. Because we're on a raw balance deal, and in order to grow this deal, we have to grow our viewer base. So I would say that is our biggest advantage, is doing everything mentally ourselves. Leaves me feeling really, really confident that I can always adapt and improve the style, and just, I've got it down to a pretty good T. Same way Mr. Beast says he can confidently start from 0 and go to 100 again. I'm the same way when it comes to gambling thumbnails. As for the next innovative move and improve on your slot content, it really comes to just expanding the brand. So making BetJuicy a better site, adding cooler, fun features to BetJuicy. There's creators who have stole our slot picker one-to-one, the design. Like, I didn't invent the random wheel decides, but the fact that they steal the way that we paid to get it designed is like, it's really fucking annoying. But ultimately, I'm flattered. The only thing is, I don't like when people tell me to collab with these creators. I'm like, dude, maybe they shouldn't have stolen from me, right? that's the only thing I'll have to figure out ultimately. But you just kind of have to get over it. And I have a massive advantage right now. I'm able to pretty much do as much as I want to do. And so that's ultimately what it will come down to, whether it be starting a really nice clothing company, merch company, or just, like I said, continuously adding features to Bet Juicy, and then just doing crazy video ideas and doing collabs that other people wouldn't be able to do. The same people stealing from me won't be able to do collabs with special people or won't be able to participate in those tournaments. So it's not something I'm so worried about anymore. And you know what, man? I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. If they absolutely need it, they're dying, they're starving, they have a family to feed, fuck it, man. Steal my thumbnail. Just understand that you're playing yourself and you're playing your future. You can't always steal. Eventually, you're going to struggle a little bit. And you really want to understand what you're stealing. And when you understand what you're stealing, you'll be able to edit it so it's not a one-to-one copy, so it's not obvious it's stolen, and you'll have a better understanding of the game itself and the challenges ahead for your future.
There seems to be a lot of recycled content, even game providers that are just reskinning and publishing the same games. I'm thinking like the big basses of the worlds. But then every once in a while you'll get like a new provider. I'm thinking Shady Lady, for example, kind of come out of the woodworks. Where do you see the future of online slots, and more particularly, like what areas are ripe for improvement and innovation?
Dude, so for this, I honestly have no idea, and it's something that I want to get more hands-on with. Ideally, I can partner with a provider, and I can start thinking this way, and I'll be able to provide a better answer to that in the future. But a lot of online slot providers seem to recycle their own content game after game. I mean, it makes sense. They're able to farm. It's same thing goes with movies releasing sequel after sequel after sequel. They have all of these characters. They have all of the nitty gritty ironed out, and they already know that we're going to get a minimum amount of players, a minimum amount of return. And so it's like a no-brainer time investment for the team, and it's usually a lot smaller. But it does sour the players, especially when you lose money on that. I lost 200 grand on Gates of Olympus Super Scatter. Why the fuck do we need Gates of Olympus Super Scatter? You know what I mean? But like Sweet Bonanza 1000, I enjoy it kind of because I'd never play Sweet Bonanza anymore. So it's kind of I don't know. There are times and places to recycle and come out with new. I've never played Shady Lady. In terms of the future and what most ripe areas for improvement and innovation, same thing goes with YouTube, man. It's hard to create stuff. There's nothing new under the sun, is like a saying. But there are games out there that come out and you're like, wow, this is fucking sick. Like Pine of Plinko is a really good game. Elk creates some really good slots. And then I've been really enjoying slot mill games. And so it comes down to a couple things. Ultimately, coding innovations, sound design animations, custom illustrations and whatnot. So you can win on the artistic front and you could have the same, the same gameplay, but wow, this game's beautiful, way smoother. And then the return to player is good. I also think a provider that provides more transparency will also win out massively. This online gambling scene has always been kind of a little bit shady. And I would argue that so is the real life gambling scene. Like, it's not that much more transparent. It's pretty fucking sus both ways. And they both have their own caveats. So it's like, I don't think there's ever a perfect world. That's impossible. But what you can do is identify, hey, we can make improvements here. So, providing more information on how RTP works and ultimately just trying to improve transparency so the players feel a lot more safe. And that'll naturally increase how much they play because they're confident that they're playing a fair experience. Kind of like CSGO Gem right now, you can verify your roles on our provably fair system, and there is absolutely nothing we can do to tamper those roles. And if we do, you would see in the provably fair system, and then it would taint the brand image drastically. So creating a system like that, but for slots where the players can play confidently, I think is key. And then obviously just improving art and sound design, which some of these latest slots companies have been doing. So thank you for your list of questions. Thank you for your support. Again, it's massive. I really do appreciate it. And I hope some days we can. I know some days, I'm not even going to say I hope, I know we're going to have our own crypto casino that's going to revolutionize the space. I know we're going to have our own slot and maybe our own provider one day. And I know that we're going to add a lot of innovations to BetJuicy and our current brand to keep expanding the love and trust in our channel. Fingers crossed that these fake demo balance casinos and creators don't keep attacking us. I mean, we've been under a brutal amount of attacks. Our channel was terminated last year. Our videos are getting falsely blocked in 10, 15 plus countries. But I hate the quote, like, the truth will set you free. But I genuinely am optimistic that the amount of support and love and belief in our audience and fan base will translate to us surviving all these attacks, weathering the storm, and then having great change in the gambling scene. Even if we make it 5, 10, 20% better, that's massive. And I just want to give a channel and create an experience where people can confidently watch our videos and be like, this is real, like this is genuine. You know what I mean? Even if we only captivate 5% of the market, that's still a beautiful change. And you never know. 5, 10 years, you can really do some crazy shit. So hopefully I answered all your questions good. Yeah, man, I love where the channels are at. And I'm super proud of the brand we've built and how far we've come. I'm really proud of it. Maybe 6, 7 years ago, I wasn't as proud as I am of myself now. So it's definitely absolutely worth being raw, real, and genuine and lifting people up, as opposed to just taking and profiting for yourself. I don't know. I just feel a lot better about everything. So hopefully I answered everything, bro. And thanks for the questions, man. I wouldn't even call them degenerate questions. Some of them were a little bit degenerate, but some of them were pretty good. So thank you, boss.